Yeah, continuing from the last recording, the same goes for the Paramhansa energization exercises. Used to be called originally Yogoda. You do them for about 15 minutes, morning and evening, before your quiet time with God, you know. And there's all sorts of, helpful hints. Don't do it on top of a meal. Give yourself a few hours since your last meal, and don't drink immediately just before it. Give yourself at least half an hour and so on. But again, you see, it's a practice, like Kriya, that's just as effective for the secular as for the religious. You don't have to be a believer to get the benefit of either Kriya or the energization exercises. From a spiritual point of view, you'll move much faster when you do it with the absolute awareness of God. But if you don't have that awareness, well, it will move you towards it. It's quite amazing, isn't it? But you have to do it earnestly. Have to. But the more earnestly you can do it, the more effective it will be. Yes, that's more like it, isn't it? And of course, the more likely you'll keep it up. Goodness, if you don't keep up the practice, well, how can the practice continue to help you? It's, it is in some sense a function of keeping up the practice, whether it's Kriya or Yogoda exercises, whatever. So, in the case of both the energization exercises and the Kriya, visualize, think of, be aware of, you are directing energy to every cell of the body. In the case of the exercises, it's each part of the body that you're bringing to attention, holding at tension, relaxing. A bit like a breath again, isn't it? You bring in, you hold, you relax the energy. And this revitalizes the tissue directly, externally in a sense, to the cell. It is actually internal in that thoughts are all in God and the cells are all in God in that sense. And you are. The whole concept is all thought. But do you see, in some sense, you're now doing it directly by thought from the mind. And the mind, although you're locating it in the head, is not actually there. There's only one mind in the universe, and it's God's. And you're linked into it. It's your mainframe. You're a unique terminal with certain capacities that are different to other terminals, but it's the same mind, it's the same God, it's the same oneness in that way. And you're using energy generated or directed by thought from God straight into the body, into the cells. In other words, this is providing the energy they need for life. You see, this is God breathing in. This is not just you breathing in with the lungs, oxygen and energy and so forth, and the thought that seems to be open to you as a living being. This is bringing in the energy direct from God's mind into, I was going to say preserving or generating the body's life. You see, it's Him breathing life into you, and you're opening that channel of God breathing into you, that you become not just a living soul, an eternally living soul. Life eternal. I am come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. In fact, a life eternal. And your, what we call consciousness, is part of that. mean, a very important part of that. Your cooperation, your desire, your openness to God. And you're open to God both in the Kriya and in the ygowdeu energization exercises, in the sense you are consciously wanting, you're actually calling on God. You're putting the life force in direct from what you may see as a secular person, the mind, but what you will see as a spiritual person from the spirit, from God's presence pouring into every cell of your body. And that would preserve the body for as long as you continue to do so. When you stop doing so, well, the body runs on for a while, but the battery runs down. It regenerates in its own magnificent, wonderful way, but in total only lasts so many years, so to speak. It starts to fade. And there's no need for it to. You could live forever, like some people have reported to have done. By people. They're reported by people that are not believed by bulk of the population, of course, because they're not confronted with such. Yeah, but that's something else, isn't it? That's just the miraculous, and I don't want you to get sidetracked onto the miraculous. Your presence in what you call reality is the most incredible miracle. How can all this universe come from nothing? And your presence and being in it. Wow, that's a miracle. And everyone is faced with that day in and day out, if they choose to become conscious of it. And most of the time they don't, of course. They're too busy with the, relatively speaking, the trivia of everyday life. That seems very important to them, because that's what they're looking at. Whatever you're focusing on starts to become what's important to you. And is part and parcel of why you're focusing on it. And the guidance is, for us all, that if you really want fulfillment, true fulfillment, your true happiness lies in loving God with all your God, personification of your values with all your heart, soul, mind and strength. And part of your God will of course be trusting that He will lead you in doing so. Because that's what you need, as you see it. That's what you value. That's your God. Bless you, and you are blessed. Thank you, Dad. Now, if you want to do these energization exercises, as they're now called, I follow, because I used to be a member of Self-Realization Fellowship, I follow their guidelines, which they've got copyright on, I think, or what they call Self-Realization Fellowship lessons. So, I'm not sure, there's no way I want to breach copyright. If you want to actually do the exercises, or Kriyananda's understanding of it, his version, which incidentally Self-Realization consider is not in some sense genuine, so that's good, in which case it's not breaching anything, is it? So if you want to follow it, well, you could just on YouTube you could look up Ananda energization exercises, and you'll see what Ananda does, and well, that's pretty sure all you need. Now everyone's actual practice is unique to each individual, because your relationship to God is unique. You're not just some clone. He loves you. You will end up doing any of the practices your way, as I'm sure Paramahansa did compared to his guru. I mean, he introduced energization exercises. It's not something that's, this is something of Paramahansa's. Not only that, but Paramahansa says that energization exercises, well, he gives it prime importance. I hesitate to say he gives it more importance than Kriya Yoga, because he felt his ministry was he was sent to bring Kriya Yoga to the West. But he certainly finds energization exercises majorly important, to say the least. It's only going to take a quarter of an hour in the morning, quarter of an hour in the evening. It's not an enormous demand. It's something that a householder can do, a person who's still working and family and all those commitments and so on. I don't mean you should join one of these organizations, be it Self-Realization or Ananda Fellowship, but there's no reason why you shouldn't benefit from such as they put available for public consumption, so to speak. I mean, if it's on YouTube, well, you've got access, haven't you? Bless you. Well, I just add a note here that obviously I'm going to spell Ygowdeu in my phonetic way of spelling, sound spelling as I call it, as in the title to this recording. And I think I'll call this particular recording ygowdeu1, so that if you got a ygowdeu 2, 3 or 4, you can follow through comments that I make as regards what I found good, best for me in doing these exercises. But I mean, it is, unique in that sense. It's, you'll do it your way. Bless you. Never feel you have to obey advice. Your relationship with God always takes priority. Follow that and you'll be much safer than following anything else of this world. Bless you. I do give Ananda priority of my focus as regards practice of these Ygowdeu exercises, in that he was with Yogananda for the last 3.5 years or so of Yogananda's life, and in a major capacity in charge of the organisation side and so on of the male monks there. So if anything, I'd direct you to there's a video that has Kriyananda actually demonstrating the exercises. I would direct you to that, possibly more than anything else. But they're probably all extremely helpful in their way. Thank you, Dad. So I would direct you to look up on YouTube, title being Kriyananda Energization Exercises, and then look specifically for the demonstration by Kriyananda himself. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Dad.